Hi everybody, welcome at this new video. I actually filmed this video for a live Facebook that I did for one of our Dutch retailers, but I decided it was too much fun not to show it to everybody. So I fast forwarded it and I'm doing it in English this time, so it's easy for everybody to follow along. Here you see me telling something about our new journals and the way that I use them. You see the vintage brown one that I'm using for my daily writing. And as you can see, after 2 months, this is really filled up and it's time to go and use a new one. My blue one I use for art journaling, and that's the journal that I'm going to work in this video. Here you see me showing an example of another butterfly pocket page that I already made. Maybe you already saw the YouTube video I did on that one. And today I'm going to make another example with our butterfly pocket die. So this is the die that I'm talking about, and it's a really big die because you have to fold it. And in the packaging there's also this label tag that you can put inside of the pocket once you've finished that project. So what I'm going to show you is how it looks when you die cut it, and actually you can if you use our papers, you can die cut 2 pockets out of 1 piece of paper. So here I show you that you can also die cut it out of watercolor paper, but it's also fun to use our new paper collection, of course. So here you see it, and some people have some trouble on how to fold this. So there are 2 sides that you have to fold in, and then you have to help it a little bit where the mandala is cut out, because of course those are some delicate papers and you have to use your fingers a bit to help it fold so you won't tear it. Then you also have 2 little pieces on the sides that you have to fold in. They're really small pieces of paper, and that's made to put on some glue or some double-sided adhesive so you can stick it together, and you have created this pocket as you see over here. So I used a white piece of watercolor paper to put inside of the pocket. This is one of the examples that I die cut it, but I also made another example and I made a booklet out of that one. And what I'm telling here is that to make that booklet that you will see in a little moment, here it is, I actually folded the die the other way around. So I didn't put my glue in the inside of the pocket, but I folded it the other way around. So I have the glue parts on the outside. That way, if I fold the die open, or actually like the card that I made, if you fold it open, you don't have glue on the inner parts where you fold it. And that way I have enough room to actually make holes in it and to bind it. And to do that, I'm going to use the die from our junk journal set. And since this actually was a live video, you see me again folding it backwards and telling the viewers how to fold that die the other way around so you can make a booklet out of it. So I'm using this die from the junk journal set, and I already die cutted some of the pages with our other dies, of course. So with this little die, I'm going to puncture some holes in there, as you see me doing here. I'm measuring it by eye, so you can also use something to make sure that you have the same amount of space on both sides, but I'm eyeballing it, so I think this will be fine. I clipped my pages together so they won't move, and now I'm just using a needle and some thread to put through it. You can use some embroidery thread for it, and you only will have to do a few stitches to make sure your booklet is secure and it's enough to keep all the pages together. And when I'm all finished by stitching my booklet, I can put a little knot in there and make sure my thread is secure and cut the little pieces off with a scissor. And actually now my booklet is completely finished and I can put it in my journal now. I like my pages to be bound like this, and of course, yeah, you can stick loose leaves behind the elastics, but here I show you I really like my booklets to be bound together, so this is how I stick it in there. To complete this demo, I really wanted to show you how you can use the different dies in different ways. Here you see how this junk journal set was made to use. So that die is to make exactly every page the same size, and you always have the little holes on the same points as well, else you can't make a nice junk journal with it. Ilse made a video for everybody to see how you can bind a junk journal. I will also put that link in the description box below. Now, back to my demo. I'm going to make this tag, and I'm going to use some distress oxides. No watercolor for me this time, but distress oxides. I really have been enjoying using them. So I'm using 2 colors, and actually I have to look which colors that were, but I will also mention that in my description box. And I'm just dipping this tag in the oxides that I sprayed with a little bit of water. So using my heat tool to dry it and then dipping it in there again, so you get that oxidized effect. And while drying it, I will also splash some water on it, just with my paintbrush, as you see me doing here, and then drying it a little more, and that all will give that extra cool effect to the oxide inks. Actually, the little bit of ink that's still on my work surface, I will use that to splatter on my background as well. And all those layers of ink make a really cool background in total. Now, what I also did was, in the die set there are some of the words like shine, and I used that to die cut out of a piece of scrap paper. And of course you can use the letters separate, but you can also use this piece of the paper. We actually made it so you can use it like this. So you have the words, and with all the loose letters that we included in the set as well, you have a complete alphabet. So that way you can use the dies on different ways. I also use one of the butterfly wings on my tag, and that's also in this complete set. Here I glued my pocket together, but then I thought that I wanted to do something else with this one. I actually cut a piece of vellum that I'm going to glue inside of my pocket, so you won't be able to see completely through it, but you can still see something inside of it. I really like the vellum as a little window behind this pocket and the mandala that's die cutted out of it. Here I was probably telling that I was going to use my sewing machine to put an edge on this tag as I did with the other one. So now this one is finished as well, and for the last bit of my demo I wanted to finish the booklet that I showed before, so I'm going to work on that now. And what I did was I used the alphabet stamps, and they have the same letters as the dies, but you can't use the dies to cut out the stamped letters. You have to use your scissors. So I already prepped that for this demo, and now I'm gluing the word creative that I painted with the Distress Oxide inks, and I already dried them, and now I'm going to glue all the letters on the front of my little booklet. I'm using my Nouveau glue because I really like the way it works, but you can use every glue that you prefer, of course. Now I'm using the word journal, that's also in one of the stamp sets, and when I finished stamping that, I have my creative journal all ready to use for my next projects. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and seeing how you can use our die sets in all different kind of ways. For now, I'm saying goodbye and see you soon.